All right, I want to welcome everyone to another episode of the Waters Run Deep podcast. Joined here, myself, Chris, got Angela, Amanda, JMO. JMO is going to take us through the world of con artists and all that fun stuff. First, we're going to get a little Wacky World news here in a second. But please rate, review on your podcast platform of choice. Also, you can reach out to us via Instagram at TWRD_podcast. As well as email if you have any topics for a suggestion or want to come on and chat with us. Let us know. You can reach us at the Waters Run Deep podcast at gmail.com. And here we go for Wacky World News.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. So Amanda and I had a good one this week. The topic of our Wacky World News is Florida woman steals alligator from Tampa facility for birthday pics.
Oh my God.
So, did you see this one?
No.
Yeah, we're going back to our roots with Florida man story with this one.
Excuse me, let's be politically correct. It's Florida people.
Okay, Florida person.
Well played.
So this happened the beginning of September, where a woman went to the Grove Resort and Water Park in Winter Garden. Well, no, I'm sorry. She was staying there and they found the sheriff's office got called about an animal in the bathtub in one of the rooms, and it was a baby alligator.
Wait, she was staying at like a hotel in Winter Garden?
Yes, a resort and water park.
First of all, Winter Garden's like in the middle of the freaking state. It's like on the way to Orlando, so I wouldn't really call it Tampa. But secondly, that's not that crazy, actually. I mean, I lived in Winter Garden's like neighboring city, and like it's really easy to get an alligator. You just need some chicken.
Yeah. Isn't Winter Garden, JMO, where CBP is?
I'm honestly not sure. I know it's close to Orlando.
Yeah, I think it is.
Is CPP like Clown Posse Brigade?
No, CBP.
Customs,
my
Clown Brigade,
Customs Border Patrol.
Yeah.
No clowns.
Wouldn't be good as clowns because you're not a fan of clowns, right, Amanda?
I would prefer to not be near clowns.
Yeah, me neither.
Chris and I, our aunt lives in a town in Florida that is like known for the circus, and there are lots of clowns around there.
You didn't know that?
Clowns will eat me.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Who's that, Amanda?
And Angela.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Lots.
Oh,
They have our Aunt Bobby got married, her like third marriage, I think, at the like clown like brigade where they like keep their little cars and stuff. And I was like, I will not be in attending that because no, thank you.
Yeah, no, that's a hard no for me as well.
I never got people's like weird thing with clowns. I know it's kind of off topic a little bit, but I never understood that. I mean, I guess everybody has a fear of something, but the clowns
are not funny.
No, I'm not saying
I
they're
would say
funny.
that they actually go very well with the topic on con artists. Because I would actually say that clowns are con artists.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, what are you hiding?
There was something I wish I can remember. It's not, I have a weird memory that, like, I equate it to a Rolodex. So if it's something that it's like, oh, I'll file that away for later, I just throw it in the Rolodex. But if there's stuff in there that's like, oh, that's wasted space, that shit gets tossed out. I mean, I have like childhood memories that unless somebody talks about it, I couldn't, pull out of my pocket if I wanted to. And all these fun stories. Like I have one about clowns, how they originated, and I can't remember. And it was a good one too. It's a shame.
Well, all I know is clowns are nightmare fuel. So that's
Well, I will say if one is running around like it and trying to kill you or has a knife or something like that, that takes it to a whole nother level. And I get that for sure. But if it's just like a clown that's at a circus that's not really bothering anybody besides creeping on little kids. I mean, that of course an issue there, but I don't really see the irrational fear with it.
Chris, do you remember? You probably don't. Speaking of your Rolodex, actually, I don't know if you were there. I think it may have just been me, but I had a friend growing up whose dad was like an accountant or something for Bromberry Circus, and he's
a good job.
Yeah, well, he probably also may not be around anymore. I don't know, not friends with friend anymore. But I remember him taking me to the circus, with her, the girl that I was friends with, and he wanted to be the cool dad, so he thought it'd be really cool to get the friend picked to be the kid that played with the clowns. And my mom did not tell them that I don't like clowns. So there's literally a picture of me hysterically crying, ringing a bell.
All right, so there's hilarious. 2 nightmares there for me.
And then
this is some childhood trauma coming up.
So then I remember crying and freaking out and having to running off stage into the backstage part. And there was more clowns, and I was this is my fucking nightmare. And then I think there were animals, and I was it smells, and there are clowns, and I have never been to a circus since, and nowhere do I ever plan to go.
I like going to the circus. We took our daughter to the last one before it came around. When it came around this way, it was their last hurrah before they, shut the original one down. Even though apparently they're bringing it back, but it's not anywhere close to where it was. But we took her to it, and it was a good time. I enjoyed going to the circus. It's pretty fun.
JMO, thoughts on the circus?
Well, so first of all, to quote one of my favorite Simpsons episodes, "Can't sleep, clowns will eat me." But yeah, I mean, I've only been to the circus once, and I took my daughter, and she was too little to enjoy it. She was too small, but it was their last tour of Ringling Brothers, I think. But yeah, I mean,
I went to the same one.
Yeah, it was in Baltimore when I went.
Yeah,
and certainly very entertaining, as far as the acrobatics and stuff like that. But I even feel at that point they didn't have a lot of the animal stuff anymore because they had pulled them all out because of cruelty stuff.
Yeah, they still had the lions, I think, was the one main thing they had. But yeah, the elephants and all that nonsense, they didn't have any of that. I think it was just the lions, now that I'm thinking about it.
I mean, for me, it was a traumatic event because my daughter wanted to a light up wand thing that spun, and it was $27 or something. And it was probably $4 on Amazon.
Oh, if that, probably 30 cents. If you had the batteries, maybe $4. But
I really
didn't want to purchase a spinning seizure stick.
Yeah.
I bet you if you type that into Amazon, it would pop up.
Oh, guaranteed.
That's how I'm going to torment my mom every time she asks I want to bring out my seizure stick.
Or you can just hit her in the head with a garage door like I did.
Head of the garage door.
You don't remember that?
Oh my God.
No. Wait, was that when she was at your house?
No, this is years ago.
Oh, your parents. Yeah.
Yeah. And you guys are running in for the rain, and I was holding my hand on the button, waiting for you guys to get in to shut the garage. I don't know why. It's not like it was a flood and we had to stop, shut the gate before the water came in. And I hit the button, and it started to come down, and she plowed right into it. I had to drag her in from the rain. She started having a seizure. It was a whole thing. It was crazy.
Oh my God.
It wasn't as bad as that one time. We're totally getting on a tangent. But that one time I left you home with her, and I was like, I'll give you money for pizza and no ghost stories. And when I came home, there was blood all over the wall because Sparky the dog had cut himself somehow.
Oh, yeah.
And neither of you were around. I think Sparky may have been. But I was like, what the fuck happened here?
There's a lot of blood in that house. Because they're moving. Well, they've moved.
Whoa.
What?
There's a lot of blood in that house.
Yeah. The amount of times I've cut myself.
I was to say,
Things you should disclose when selling said house. There's a murder happened here.
The whole garage, like the roof, the ceiling in the garage has like my blood splatter all over it.
Yeah.
So whoever buys that house gets my lovely DNA with it. Well, whoever bought the house, rather.
How lucky. Going back to looking up Caesar stick on spinning Caesar stick on Amazon, the first one's a light up one.
Yeah, told you.
Perfect.
That's great. I love that they
and then lightsabers.
So this chick had a baby alligator in the bathtub in a hotel.
Yes, because she wanted to take birthday pictures with said alligator.
See, this is the problem with our society. That's what we've come to, or succumb to rather, is the quality of your next photo. You know, it's not the
do it for the gram.
Tell. Yes, exactly.
Gotta
it's
be
not
the gram.
Stories you tell. It's more of the photos you provide, and it kind of frustrates me. I get that everybody has a camera in their pocket, so nothing's private, nothing's hidden. But it's like, man, what happened to just sitting around like this, chatting and talking about it, you know, or sitting around a fire and talking about it or whatever? Instead, everybody just wants to see the photo and then move on. And it sucks. I don't like it. Don't like it.
You need more context
before technologies.
Yeah.
So, Chris, how many times did you yell at the kids about being on your front yard today?
Oh man!
Damn Dawson River kids.
So young, so angry.
Point.
Damn that rap music.
Damn that rap music.
Fair point. I did sound kind of grumpy old manish there, didn't I?
You shake your fist at them. Get off my lawn.
Get off my damn lawn.
Dagnabbit.
I think you can put everything in a Simpsons quote because there's a old man raises fist and yells at cloud like.
Yeah, I use that gift probably every third day.
Yeah.
My front yard looks like kids live here, and we don't have any kids, and so I got to start yelling at them to get off my damn yard.
Mine looks like the Tarzan lives there right now. I need to mow the grass. Pretty rough.
You can bring a baby alligator into it.
Well, I mean, it's not quite that bad, but it's just crazy the weather here. Like the grass, you cut it and it's fine, and then like within 2 days, it's the same as it was when you cut it, and then the next day, it's like 4 inches taller than it was the day before. It's like it gets spurting up. It's crazy. Here I am, old man again. I'm talking about mowing grass, complaining about mowing grass.
Dang rain that we've had. Yeah, I feel like my lawn did grow like 4 inches since yesterday.
Yeah, it's crazy. So she was going to return the alligator, I'm assuming, after she got her pictures.
Well, so here's the thing. The incident report that was filed by the Florida Wildlife Control and Orange County Sheriff's Office was the alligator was appropriated by an ex-employee of Tampa's Croc Encounters, and that she borrowed the alligator in the early hours of the morning and brought it to the hotel for her use. So maybe she was going to return it.
So, wow. So she really put some thought in this. Wasn't like a last minute, like when in Rome kind of thing. This was like planned out. She went and talked to somebody that apprehended the alligator for her, and it was a whole enterprise.
Yeah, I guess they like knew each other. But the owner said that the person that did take the alligator was no longer with the company and not authorized to be on premise or in contact with the animals.
Man, what did he do to get fired from the alligator? Right?
Let a crazy person take an alligator.
Yeah. Man. I saw something. I want to see. It's not really a funny, wacky world news type article, but I saw this thing. I talked to Amanda briefly about it the other day, and it's regarding. So apparently,
yeah. Sorry, Ange. We talk sometimes offline. Usually, it's because Emma calls to talk about other things.
So rude.
Yeah, sorry, J-Mo and Angela. We talk without you.
So apparently this ship was found, and in like the helm of the ship a map was found, and it showed this lost city that was reportedly missing, and the map's older than it should be. Basically, like it shouldn't be as old. I don't know. I wish it was. I don't know. I have to look into it and go through it, but it's pretty interesting. Apparently, found this city that people have been looking for forever.
This reminds me of the last episode I was on about time travel.
Yeah. Yeah. And then another one, this is not really a story. This is more of a video. Another podcast I listened to, The Confessionals, they had a guy on that was talking about the Malaysia 370 flight. Mm-hmm. So there's a video that came out not long after the flight went missing, and it was a satellite view and then also a drone view. And I still don't really understand how the drone was involved, that it happened to be there when the flight went missing or whatever. But apparently the satellite, of course, they're everywhere, so I can buy that one, but the drone I don't really understand. So this video footage captures the plane, and all of a sudden you see these three like orbs like flying around. Well, it starts out as one, and then it becomes two, and then it becomes three, and they start circling around the plane in like this triangular formation. And the next thing you know, and the camera kind of zooms in a little bit, and then all of a sudden you see this like black blip flash on the screen, and the plane's like gone instantly. Poof. So it's almost like a portal opened up or something, and a plane got sucked into like a portal or something. And what's weird is that, and I can buy this, is because like if the plane crashed, there'd be debris everywhere. There's so many redundancies for those black boxes and the locators. I mean, it's just crazy. If that thing crashed, we would have found it. We'd have found wreckage, the black box, whatever, something. We at least know where the black box is. Whether we can get to it, it's a whole other story. So,
are you still talking about the Malaysia flight, or are you talking about the recent flight? You know about Malaysia. The recent one, right?
No.
There was a U.S. Military flight that just went missing recently in some kind of exercise, and they assume that it wrecked somewhere, but they can't find it, and it's on U.S. turf somewhere. And it's I
think I vaguely heard of that.
And you're right, man. There's so much technology and GPS and black box, and I mean, even like, radio type tracking stuff. I can't believe that it's just gone.
Yeah. I mean, they were able to, like, you would call some of the passenger cell phones, and it would ring. It wouldn't go like right to voicemail, like if the phone's broken or it's dead, it's broke, whatever. It would ring, and it would go to voicemail. So it's not like the phones were destroyed. And it was like well after the plane crash. So if it crashed and it went in the ocean, the water would have got to it by however long the time was, and would have destroyed the phone, and it wouldn't have rang. So it's crazy stuff like that. So it's like, did it go into an alternate dimension? And now, it still gets signal potentially. I don't know. I'm not a alternate dimension specialist, but like there's a bunch of different theories to explore. So this guy basically, regarding the video, he's apparently with this group been investigating the video and tracing everything back. And supposedly he has a witness that actually witnessed the flight, basically corroborates the video. So he's working on breaking that story. But it's fascinating. Like, I didn't know much about the Malaysia thing, but supposedly they found some wreckage not long after the flight. But the problem was a little like identifier plate was missing off the piece of wreckage they found. But they still said, oh, this is part of the Malaysia flight because it matched the type of plane, etc. Which it could have been from another flight. It washed up on shore somewhere, and it could have just been old. They said, well, it rusted away the plate and it popped off, whatever. That's why it's not there. I don't buy it. I don't buy that. It could have been God knows what, and somebody intentionally popped the plate off, But interesting stories that I've heard.
I mean, could be all the aliens that we're hearing about in the news took them down.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. is the three orbs is something to do with it. Whether it's aliens or it's our technology, who knows? You know, a private industry that received something from the military years ago. I mean, who knows? Who knows? But it could be our technology that they've, testing or using, or it could be extraterrestrial technology. I'm more by the extraterrestrial technology more than anything. But yeah, but why that aircraft though? That's the one thing, is why that aircraft. And the guy that's investigating it, he goes through and has a couple reasons why, but it's still, to me, it's a little loose. I don't know. The why is not there for me.
Not plausible enough for you with what he's presenting.
I mean, everything else is, but the why is why did that happen is not concrete enough. The evidence, the video evidence, I could see that because that's hard to fake. I mean, it's the satellite footage, or one of them, it's the drone or satellite footage is infrared, so you get the heat signature on it. So that's hard to fake. I mean, to put the heat in the right place and show it's just really hard to fake that kind of stuff. And then the orbs, when they're floating around the plane, apparently if you slow it down, the orbs are giving off like a trail, but it's not going in the direction they're spinning. It's going in the opposite direction. So kind of like what they say with extraterrestrial technology for the flight part is that their propulsion is they're creating like a gravity pocket in front of it. So whatever technology they have, it's creating like a void where the craft's basically falling into whatever direction it's going to. So that would make sense with that video, is that in the infrared, that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the craft make that void that they're falling into. That's why if it's a aircraft and it's going north, the trail it's going to leave is going to be going south or behind them, whereas this is apparently the opposite. They're going, for instance, north, and the little trail or pocket thing is going the direction they're traveling. So really hard to fake. So that's why I kind of buy it. We'll see. Time will tell.
All interesting things.
I like how
I am. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I like how you're so vested in this topic, and you're not quite sure. You don't buy his story, but yet Florida woman with the alligator in the bathtub is just totally reasonable. Like,
yes, I mean, to be fair, it is Florida.
Yes, it is Florida.
I mean, honestly, I think it's because like we're related to Floridians, and like I'm not 100% sure. I couldn't guarantee that there isn't an alligator in one of our relatives' bathrooms at this moment.
I could buy that, but I will say, given the grams and everybody wanting to top the grams, I guess I use that right. If this lady had access to an alien, I bet she would have picked an alien over an alligator.
Wait, do you mean grandma or Instagram?
Instagrams.
Oh, okay. I'm hip. I'm down with the 411.
I'm not, because I only said it because Angela said it.
That's why you put an S at the end of it. Do it for the grams.
Angela is our resident cool lady.
Yeah. What's the cool thing to say? Bussin'? Isn't that a cool thing to say now? Bussin'?
I just learned recently
right now
what cap means.
What?
When people say like cap, it means lie.
Or
I'd be like, e-cap. Actually, I don't know if that's said correctly.
I don't know if that makes sense to me. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I didn't invent it. I'm just telling you what the kid said. Like, I don't even have the talkie tick. Okay.
Oh,
me neither.
Well, because we can't have it because at work we can't have it.
The X.
I don't have that either, but I can't have TikTok at work because our code doesn't match. Yeah, and you can't either, probably.
No, I can't have that shit.
You guys might be able to where you work, right?
I don't want to.
Yeah, but no one's telling you can't. Like they literally, like I can't even access it.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I also have 2 phones, and so does JMO.
Yeah. I do have a confession.
Oh, here we go.
He's got the TikTok.
I TikToked during the pandemic. I got hooked on it. You're sitting at home and like, you're like, oh, stupid videos. And I mean, like Instagram's kind of the same thing with reels anyway now, but like during the pandemic, it was just like boom, 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 boom. And the next thing I know, I'm like, I've been looking at this for like 25 minutes. What just happened?
Yeah.
I literally spent, I am not kidding you, an hour yesterday watching somebody crush chalk like in their hands, like different types of chalk that people just crushed in their hands. And I watched it for like an hour while listening to a very, very adult book on tape.
I'm concerned about your sanity and this PhD.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot to unpack there.
We've had childhood traumas with clowns and bells, and now we're crushing chalk and
addictions to Instagram, former
TikTok.
addictions to TikTok. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it because a family member of ours loves the TikToks and would send them here and there, and I'd see, I guess you can view it because I was always able to view them when he'd send them to me. But if you don't have a what do they call that? Account?
An account?
Yeah. And,
I was gonna say application.
Hey, get off his lawn, okay?
Yeah, get off my lawn. and they were, they're funny, and I get I definitely get it. The desire to keep flipping through if there's several after that, because some of them are pretty funny. But yeah. Anyway. Well, I guess we'll jump into Con Artist if we're ready to kick it off.
Yeah.
Well, since you didn't really, preface, sorry, JMO. JMO is going to take lead on this topic this week, and we're going to be spectators.
I didn't say that? Oh, man. My deepest apologies.
Okay. Nobody puts JMO in the corner. It's fine.
Yeah. So JMO's our very special guest host this week. And I think it's our first guest host, really.
Yes, it is. But I did introduce him, though, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Leaving all this in, by the way.
Perfect.
I kind of tune you out, Chris, so I'm not sure what you said through most of this.
Love the honesty.
That's what I'm here for.
All right. So, yes, thank you all for having me back. Instead of a guest, I'm a host this time. I'm JMO. I'm buddies with Angela at work. So she gets to put up with me all the time, like I said last time. I play in
Just buddies at work?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, and in real life.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, man, that's kind of, guys are just friends at work and that's it. All right.
Yeah, I don't talk to her outside of work.
Anyway, carry on.
Just when we record podcasts.
That's right. The only two mediums are work and podcast. But yeah, so I'm JMO. I play in a local band called Bootleggers and Baptists. We've had a couple singles come out since the last time I was on here. So please, check them out on Spotify. I'm not sure when this will air, but we have a EP that's going to release on the 28th of October. So we'll have a bunch of new material out there for your streaming pleasure on all different platforms, wherever you listen to music. And completely unrelated, after I was a guest last time, I was thinking of ideas for you guys for podcasts. And I thought up the idea of talking about con artists. And so Angela gave me the suggestion that maybe I should host. So I'm going to take a swing at it.
JMO, before you get going, I have a question.
Please.
Can we get your music on the vinyl? Because that's the only way Christopher listens to music. It's a little old school. We're trying to get him to use cassette tape, but
I was going to say, we need to bring back
losing
cassette
his
tapes.
pencil to rewind them. So
some 8-track.
Oh yeah, we could do 8-track, Chris. Does your motorcycle take 8-track?
No, it doesn't. Doesn't have anything. It doesn't even have a fuel gauge on it, actually.
So you're going places.
Yeah. Don't have if I make it. If I run out of gas, kind of just got to rock the bike back and forth, see if it's there. But
sorry, Dana. I appreciate that.
No.
And I do actually listen to a lot of your stuff, and it pops
awesome.
up. Yeah, it pops up on my feed a lot on Spotify. So
yes,
good stuff.
Well, awesome. I appreciate that. We don't currently have any vinyl yet. However, we have been in talks of we're going to record an EP on the heels of this one and maybe make a 2-sided vinyl. That's what we're thinking. But subject to change. But
Perfect.
yes, we will be able to accommodate Chris's vinyl needs.
Let me know, because Christmas is coming up. So that might be a Christmas present, or his birthday's in July. Either one works for me.
Yeah, Cancer baby.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Leo.
Oh,
no, you are not a Cancer.
No.
He's Leo.
No. Leo. I'm late July.
sorry, it's just me and my big feels over here. Don't worry about it. All right. So we're here to talk about con artists. And I originally, when I was doing research, I kept looking up con men, and then I figured that wasn't really appropriate anymore. Like I was saying earlier about Florida people. But yeah, there's con men, con women, con people. What do you call them? Con artist is actually what you're supposed to call them. I learned as I was researching the topic. To give some context, I thought this was a fun exercise. I wanted to look up some definitions on a couple of the things that I'm going to be talking about today. So, everybody usually references Webster's dictionary, and a con artist is a person who tricks other people in order to get their money. And as I was doing research, I didn't really feel that was an appropriate definition. So I dug a little deeper, and the Cambridge dictionary defines it a little better. It's a person who deceives other people by making them believe something false or making them give their money away. And I think that's a better description, because it's not always monetarily, right? Like you could fool somebody into, credentials, saying you're somebody you're not, things like that. My favorite definition I came across was on the Urban Dictionary, of course.
That's the best source.
Yes.
The only source.
The only source. And so there was a contributor on there, and a big shout out to Crunkberry was the contributor on this definition. And it's actually a play on con artist. It's con artistic. And his description under the comment section was, "Man, I was about to hit it and quit it, and then she took off her nails, weave, and miracle bra. I'm not fucking with that con artistic ass anymore."
Wow.
So thank you, Crunkberry, for that. That got me good. So before I start, going into some of the con artists I'm going to talk about today, taking a feather out of Chris's cap from the last podcast I participated in, to talk about the top 25 con artist movies of all time. And before I read through them, I wanted to see if you guys could, spitball some ideas of what might be on the list.
Catch me if you can.
That's the number one.
I mean, to stick with that, I'm also going to say The Wolf of Wall Street.
I also thought that would be on this list. And by the way, this is IMDb. It is not on the list. And I was surprised.
I'm going to write Leo.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It may be the contributor of the list that I'm looking up, but it wasn't on this list that I pulled up.
What about, oh gosh, there's the illusionist, and what's the other magician one? with Edward Norton, or was The Illusionist with Edward Norton?
That is not on here.
Neither of those. Damn.
The
Rain
Ocean's
Man.
movies.
Rain Man. Rain Man is not on here.
Chris said the
Dustin
Ocean's
Hoffman.
series.
The Ocean's 11 is the second on this list.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
The Italian Job.
No, but that is a good movie.
Yeah.
You just want something with Edward Norton in here.
Yes.
All right. So the list goes, I'm going to go from bottom to top. And I don't know some of these movies. There's Paper Moon from 1974, The Criminal from 2004, Confidence 2003, House of Games 1987, The Spanish Prisoner 1997, The Grifters 1990, The Lady Killers 2004.
Oh, I totally forgot about that one. That's a
Lady
great
Killers?
one. Yes.
Yeah, it is a good one.
Tom Hanks, Marlon Wayans, yeah.
Yeah, and Tom Hanks is a Louisiana accent. That was a horrible Louisiana accent.
Charming Southern professor. And they rob a casino. 18 is The Good Liar. 17 is The Man Who Would Be King, 1975. It's going to start getting really good here in a second. Matchstick Men, 2003. You guys remember that one?
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Nick Cage. The Hustler, 1961. Surprised this one is on the list. The Heartbreakers with Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Wow.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, 1988.
That's the one. I was just thinking about that. There's a Steve Martin and John Cleese movie.
Yep. This one is one of my favorites on the list. Number 12 is White Men Can't Jump.
Oh, yeah.
That's on the list.
That's on the list at number 12.
Wow.
Well, I'm going to have to rewatch that.
It's a good film. I just watched it within the past year.
They have a new one that has little Dicky in it. Fun fact, Amanda.
Let's see. Number 11 is The Color of Money, 1986. A Fish Called Wanda at 1988. The Sting, 1973. Here's another classic film. At number 8, we have Kingpin.
Oh, that's one of my favorites.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like how Woody Harrelson has at least 2 on this list. It's perfect.
I mean, he was typecasted, you would think.
Yeah. Trading Places at number 7.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that one. I'm trying to.
Eddie Murphy.
Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, it's one of my favorite movies.
It's so good.
Oh my God.
Let's see. Number 6 is Midnight Run. Number 5, I Care a Lot. Number 4 is American Hustle.
That's a good one.
Yeah. It's also got Amy Adams in it, which is also in Catch Me If You Can, which is, I like seeing some of the same actors in the different films here. It's kind of funny.
Yeah,
So you like typecasting.
Jennifer Lawrence. And,
Jennifer Lawrence,
Christian
yeah.
Bale, too, I think, right?
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Number 3 is Now You See Me.
Oh, I like
Yeah.
that one. It also has Amy Adams in it.
Does
It's a
it?
magician movie.
It also has Woody Harrelson.
Yes.
So Woody and Amy recurring on this list.
Apparently con artists.
Did you know that Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey are brothers?
Yes.
I don't know if that was proven, but I've certainly seen a lot of stuff within the past year about that. Did they actually prove it?
Yeah, I thought they they proved it. Like they did like the know your roots thing.
Interesting.
I don't know, Angela, you might have to look that up later for our fact check.
Yes.
No Suzanne Summers movies on this list.
No, man, I just saw that message before I started this. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, what now?
Suzanne Summers died today.
No shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to have to take a different thigh master class tomorrow, Ange. Thigh blaster. Something with your thighs.
She was in Step by Step, right?
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Wait, I think I missed. What was number 2?
Number 2 was Ocean's 11.
Oh, right. And number 1 was Catch Me If You Can.
You got it. Yep.
Such a good movie.
Such a good movie. Yeah. So, Catch Me If You Can. Frank Abagnale Jr. is one of the con artists I will be talking about today. So we'll dig into that a little deeper too. All right. So switching from movies into some of the con artists I'll be talking about today. I was referencing con people. I was going to talk about Elizabeth Holmes as one of the con artists I was going to talk about today.
Yes.
Unfortunately, I'm sorry to disappoint. When I started to try to take notes and be able to speak about it intelligently enough, it was a little. I'm not into the medical field enough and know enough about blood where I can kind of dig a little deeper into it. But that is a very interesting story, to look into. So unfortunately,
fumbled your way through it like I do.
Yeah, I didn't want to completely plagiarize like a website.
Just change a few words around here and there, and who knows? Just cite it in the end, and we'll be good.
That's what I was going to say. As long as you cite it correctly, it's not plagiarizing. Right.
No, I'm with you. I certainly did. I will reference at least one source here that I did my best to not plagiarize, but I certainly got a lot of information from them. So the first con artist I'm going to talk about today is Charles Ponzi. He's been named like the founding father of financial hijinks, or kind of the first financial con artist. He's so known for being the first one that they actually, kind of coined a phrase or like a term, is a Ponzi scheme. Have you all ever heard that term before? Maybe not.
Yes,
absolutely.
Okay. Cool. For those who might not
know, I thought that was named after the Fonz.
The Fonz.
No.
Hey.
I love it. Side note, what's that actor's name that plays the Fonz?
Henry
Winkler.
Henry Winkler, yeah.
Do you all watch the show Barry?
Yeah, he's in that. Isn't he like the acting coach?
Yes, that show is absolutely fantastic. And
so
I was mind blown how dark the last season was.
Mm-hmm. I like the guy who plays the Russian mobster.
Oh, the
with alopecia.
Bald guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is he Russian?
I don't know. He is not like the actor, but I thought the character he played was Russian or some type of Eastern European.
Yeah, it might not be Russia. I can't remember. But yes, that guy's hilarious. His timing is like perfect.
So funny.
Anyway. So Angela, you have some homework to watch Barry now. It's fantastic.
Agreed. Christopher, you also.
I know. I thought about getting into it. I just have so many on my docket that I have to add it to it. That's a good one.
I like that you call it your docket. Like I imagine you're like a judge and you're like checking off your docket. What you have.
It's
His
that.
docket in his Rolodex of memories.
It's that important.
Get off
to me
his
that
lawn.
I have a docket.
Is Robin your like law clerk for your movie docket?
It's my paralegal. Oh boy.
All right. So a Ponzi scheme with a P, not Fonzie like A.
Hey.
But a Ponzi scheme is a fraudulent investing scam which generates returns for earlier investors with money taken from later investors. Of course, I had to look at Urban Dictionary because of the previous research I was doing. They describe it as the fastest, most effective way to make money on the internet. You must run your own Ponzi scheme for it to be effective. And unfortunately, this contributor was anonymous, but their comment was, "Fuck ripoff Ponzi motherfuckers. Give me my money back or I'll call the FBI."
That's a good one too.
I love the internet. It's a magical place.
Great. It is.
So as I was saying before, Charles Ponzi is kind of the originator of financial schemes that's at least been documented pretty heavily. To give you an idea, he was starting his work in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and he was known for duping 30,000 Americans out of an estimated $10 million. And to put that in perspective, I punched some numbers into Google. $10 million in the 1900s was around $300 million today.
Wow.
Right?
I mean, it's ingenious scheme. It is. It's awful, but it's ingenious. And I don't know. He got to it first, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's been many after him that have tried to do similar things enough that they coined a phrase for him, right?
Yeah.
So it's certainly not gone. So what Charles Ponzi specifically did was he created a gimmick regarding international reply coupons, which was basically a way to prepay for foreign postal mail. And so basically there are these vouchers, and because of the exchange in currency, he would buy these coupons at a low price overseas that could be cashed in for a higher amount in the USA. So what he would do is he would tell investors that he had a way to double their money within 3 months. And through this scheme, he was averaging $1 million a week. And a local newspaper started investigating what he was doing. And they realized that there were not enough coupons in the entire world to support his scheme. He actually got exposed by the newspaper.
Oh, damn reporters.
Right? So he wasn't investing in the coupons at all, at no surprise. And so what he would do is he would pay off the early investors with the investments of the most recent ones. So he would just keep money in his hands and then feed the people, that from the later part of from the earlier part of the scam.
I guess at that pace, you can almost keep that thing rolling for forever. The only part that would get you is if everybody pulled at once. I think, if everybody went to claim at once, then
isn't that what happened to Madoff? Like, isn't that what Rupert Madoff did? Wait, right?
Yeah, similar pyramid scheme.
Yeah, it's like the same, right? Isn't a pyramid scheme the same as a Ponzi scheme?
Similar. Instead of paying off early investors with late investors, pyramid scam, you're like kind of pushing down to other people that are working for you. But essentially, it's pretty damn similar.
Just a twist on the Ponzi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably going to offend a bunch of people on the internet here, but you remember when those, like, what was it? What were the leggings that all the chicks were wearing for a while?
LuLaRoe, yeah.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that, me and Robin, last night. That's so crazy.
The buttery soft leggings and that pyramid scheme.
So that was a legit pyramid scheme?
Oh, yeah. They all are.
I mean, most direct sales companies like that are.
So are they like done? They don't exist anymore?
No, they are.
I think they're like done. They don't exist anymore. Check it out.
Fucking Siri.
By the way, if you have another request, you don't need to say Siri before you ask it.
I didn't fucking say that.
She just said you don't have to.
Leave it in. It's staying in.
To answer your question, it does still exist because I watch Sister Wives, which is my trash television. And one of the sister wives is her clothing business is Lululemon or LuLaRoe. Lululemon is legit. Please don't sue us. Lululemon, I love your pants.
So, because it was big during like before COVID, and I think COVID. It's more or less what Robin and I were saying is that COVID kind of killed them out more or less.
I mean, there are a lot of contributing factors to the decline in popularity of it.
It was really nice in the beginning because it was like kind of new and they were actually really good. But then I feel like the quality when they got big went down. Because Ange and I were definitely subscribers. Like we had our Halloween leggings. We had all the different types. Which is so funny because I don't think I have any of those leggings anymore.
I might. I don't know.
There's multiple ones. Like I feel like people are starting to catch on, but the MLM system has, which is marketing level, multi-level marketing. That's the Peanut Gallery just told me that. Have been around since like Tupperware, which was like in the 60s.
Mary Kay.
So.
Yeah, and there's all sorts. I remember Shackley products were a bit popular back in the day. I'm trying to remember what else.
Wait, Shack made products?
It was a company called Shackley. I think it was SHAKLEE. Maybe I'd have to check that. But they had like, you could have like, it was mostly nutritional things like in supplements or like, creatine powder or vitamins or things like that.
What about 31?
Oh yeah, I loved 31 for a while. I don't know anyone who still sells it. Even my friend who was like trying to get me into it super big, I don't even think she still sells it anymore. Because eventually you run out of friends, right? Like you run out of people to get to join. And that, yeah.
Robin used to sell it years ago.
I only did Scentsy, so.
People still sell that because Robin sells that and I was buying from her sometimes.
Yeah, that stuff's pretty good. I mean, and that stuff's like, that's a good one because it's something you have to replenish. You know what I mean? Like you burn through it and you have to get more. Whereas like leggings, like you can only have so many pairs of leggings, right? 31 bags, like you're going to get to the point where you're going to have a bag for each item,
I feel like once mom moved in, we literally have so many 31 bags. Because her and I both had them. Well, and like, I was thinking like, what's the one that's like the 21-day fix, like the workout? And they had like the Beachbody.
It's not, first off, it's not Beachbody anymore. It's Body.
Oh.
BODI.
Do you still do it, Ann?
I do.
Wait, BODI?
Yep.
Huh.
We have our very own Ponzi in here.
Right. Oh, wait, but you don't sell it. You just
I don't sell it.
Purchase it.
I just do the workouts. I pay for the workout subscription. and I buy the pre-workout.
Fair enough.
But do we feel like, and I'm getting us so off topic, JMO, so I apologize, and you can tell me to shut up and we'll go back on topic.
No,
But
keep going.
do we feel like the new quote unquote Ponzi scheme are Instagram influencers?
100%. Well, but I don't. It's definitely some sort of scheme. Whether it's a Ponzi scheme, I don't know. But it is. But it's just the flavor of the week, you know. And I don't think. Well, I guess so.
I
Because
feel like
you
the
have
same-
subscriptions.
Yeah, I feel like the same can be said about Bitcoin.
Oh, absolutely.
I do not understand Bitcoin. I sat through an entire learning thing at work the other day about a company that literally mines for Bitcoin. And I was like, but isn't that on the computer? I mean, I feel like I'm kind of smart and I don't understand.
Yeah, I barely get it. And I don't even get it, if that makes sense. Like I have an idea, but it's a similar, I feel like it's a similar, that's definitely a modern day Ponzi scheme for sure.
But it's like imaginary. I mean, all money is imaginary if we think about it. But it's like, I watched 4 Netflix specials about it.
So you should be an expert on how to explain it.
No, I like literally don't understand because I'm like, how do you find it? And is it like, oh, you have to do these like things and you mine it, but then is it fake? And
It's
not
all
as
very
easy as
confusing.
finding a dime on the street.
So mining it, so the way the mining works, it's taking up real estate. So basically you're acting as a bouncing point for the transactions, basically. And for being that bouncing point, you're able to take a slice of the pie for acting as that pit stop, if that makes sense. This is the way it was explained to me. Is that if you have, you could set it up, it's a miner and it hooks into your router, and you have to have more obviously bandwidth to really do it in a large scale, but it hooks up to your router. And I see Amanda's sad face. I guess I'm boring her already. And it acts as like so it comes in, it hangs out for a bit, and then it heads out. So it's just acting as like a waypoint for it. And I'm probably doing a piss poor job explaining it.
You weren't boring me. I just was so confused. And then all of a sudden I started watching Itchy and Scratchy in my head.
Simpsons references.
Yes. But yeah, it's still, I still don't get it because I don't like, why don't we need that for other data? Why does it? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I need to I don't know. How does it equate to money though? I know how money equates. It's about gold and then like current gold is oil, right? And we sell oil based on the dollar. So how is Bitcoin like equivalent to that, or is it made up and everyone just knows and I've been left out?
So it is made up basically, but it's based off of the desire for it. It kind of goes to the what's that old saying?
Like supply and demand.
Supply and demand. So the more people want it, the more valuable it is. The less of it, and there's only supposedly there's a definitive number of how much is out, but then at the same time, it kind of it gets really confusing, and I'm like confusing myself trying to explain it. But there was that one that went out within a year ago, it might have been 2 years ago, that it came out and everybody thought it was going to be like the next Bitcoin because they had this new innovative way to be able to cash out and switch it over. Well, there was something put out on the internet, and it was probably somebody from Bitcoin that put it out, but saying that it was going to crash. So they inadvertently caused it to crash because everybody went and pulled out at the same time to the instance that they couldn't even cash out. You know, some people weren't even able to cash out and get their money back or transfer it into a different type of coin. So it's a mess. I don't want anything to do with it. I thought about getting into it, but it's like, I don't want anything to do with it because it just scares me.
Too much unknowns.
Yes. And the only way the way you have your money is basically on a flash drive. And that just terrifies me. Anyway, back to the topic on hand.
All good. Yeah, I mean, what's the other thing? NFTs or whatever.
Yes, and that went down quick, fast, and in a hurry. That was didn't last long at all.
Yeah. No, thank you.
That's just you creating something and saying this something is worth $5, and you give me $5, and then it's supposedly always going to be worth $5. I don't. How is that? Like, that's to me is not much different than proper, like anything else. Like a laptop computer, when I buy it, is $1,200, right? But it's not always going to be $1,200. You know, it has depreciation. And I think that's what they were saying is that NFTs don't, but that shit just didn't take off like they thought.
Yeah. Modern day Ponzi schemes.
110%.
All right. So the next con artist I'm going to be discussing, I felt was kind of similarly aligned to more of the usual topics that I've heard you all speak on in the past. And I want to give a shout out to crimemuseum.org because I got most of the information from them on this particular artist. But before I start, have you all ever heard of D.B. Cooper?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, so at least you have some context before I start. So Dan or D.B. Cooper, Dan Cooper, and I was trying to figure out where the B in Dan Cooper came from, and I could not find that. So I have to do some more research. That's going to bother me. So D.B. Cooper became legend the evening of Thanksgiving in 1971. Since that day, police have never been able to find him dead or alive, and he jumped out of an airplane mid-flight is what happened. So a man calling himself Dan Cooper entered the Portland International Airport and purchased a one-way ticket to Seattle for $20, which as somebody that travels a lot, seeing a plane ticket for $20 kind of blew my mind. But that's that 1971 money. The plane at that time carried 36 passengers, not including the flight staff. Dan Cooper, or D.B. Cooper, was described as a accentless, middle-aged white male in a dark suit and tie. He did not draw any attention. He was just kind of a normal passenger when he got on the plane. Once the plane had taken off and the attendants were, going about the cabin, Cooper handed the flight attendant a note. At that time, men traveling alone commonly slipped phone numbers or hotel room numbers to flight attendants. Apparently, this was common practice. So the flight attendant placed the note in her pocket and didn't think of anything of it.
Whoops.
So first, let's pause there. That as I was doing this research, I found that man, how times have changed.
You do that now, it'd be a Me Too movement after you.
Right? So she ignored it. After she had come through the cabin a couple more times, Cooper kind of flagged her down, and he told her that she better read the note and warned her that he had a bomb, and he would kind of, indicated towards the suitcase that he had with him. The attendant then went to the galley to read the note. She showed the other flight attendants, and they went and notified the pilot and the staff in the cockpit. The pilot contacted air traffic control. They contacted the police, who in turn contacted the FBI. FBI placed a urgent call to the president of the airline, who said that they would assist with following through with Cooper's demands. His demands were essentially, or actually, let me see here. No. It was a handwritten note. So in his demands, it was a handwritten note. He demanded $200,000 in cash and 2 sets of parachutes. He wanted these items delivered to the Seattle airport and noted that if he didn't comply with these demands, he would blow up the plane. And I found this very funny as I read in a couple different articles that it's been documented multiple times that he said no funny business.
That to me, I don't know why it came to my mind, but like a New Englander came to mind with the no funny business thing. I don't know why. Maybe I don't know.
You just upset so many people in New England right now.
I know. I don't know why it was
Right?
like, oh, that's a New Englander type saying or something. I don't know. That doesn't even, like, I don't know. I don't have an explanation for
that. Oh man, all the Patriots fans out there are upset. All right, so
they're already upset because their team sucks. But so while you were telling the story, I had this flashback, or maybe it's a flash forward of watching Loki, and I feel like this is a character, right? That Loki acted like don't they talk? Okay, Jamie was shaking his head.
I think they talk about that in the show,
and he acts like that with him, and I was like, oh, this sounds like this character Loki played. Which is where I get all my historical references from, is Todd Hiddleston.
Television shows.
Yeah, mostly just Avenger movies.
Big shout out to Marvel and Disney.
Yeah.
Big shout out.
Thanks for helping with your education over there.
Heck yeah. How do you think I plan to learn about Halloween and Dia de los Muertos? Coco. Right.
Well, if you go back in time, you can also learn about supporting Nazism from Walt Disney himself.
Whoa, Christopher! Too far. I prefer to only support Disney from 19... Well, we're not going to go there.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
We probably are going to get sued because we talked about Loki, Marvel, and Disney anyway. So.
Oh, come after me, Disney. You can have all $4 that I have.
I got about 30 cents based on that. So
you're going to have to stand in line behind the federal government for my student loan payment.
All right. Well, no funny business, Disney. All right. So let's see. The next time the flight attendant returned, he opened his suitcase wide enough for the attendant to get a glimpse of what was inside the suitcase. Then it was a bunch of wires, a couple cylinders, and potentially some dynamite sticks. He directed her to return to the cockpit and tell the pilot to stay in air until the money and parachutes were ready. After receiving the message, the pilot announced over the intercom that the jet would circle before landing due to a mechanical problem. Most of the passengers were unaware of the hijacking at the time. Cooper asked for $200,000 in $20 bills, which is estimated to weigh around 21 pounds. If smaller bills were used, it would add extra weight. Wait,
is he going to the strip club later?
Right? I mean, I think, if you're throwing $20 at a time at a stripper, she's going to have a great time. Or rather, they are going to have a great time. Excuse me.
I was like, look, the strip clubs I go to, they are classy gentlemen and ladies, and they require the $20 bills.
There you go.
And by strip clubs, I mean, I usually just kind of hang out at PetSmart and play with the kitty cat.
And then the kitty cats rip apart your $20 bills.
I'm like making it rain with the kitties. There's probably an inappropriate joke somewhere in there, but this is a children's podcast.
Right.
This is a children's podcast, for fuck's sake.
No need to talk about pussy cat.
Right?
Okay. So $200,000 in $20 bills would weigh around 21 pounds. If he were to ask for smaller bills, it would add extra weight and be dangerous for his skydive. Larger bills would weigh less, but they would be more difficult to pass on. He indicated to the FBI that he wanted serial numbers that were random, not sequential. But the FBI did give him bills that were random serial numbers, but made sure all of them began with the letter code L. Cooper wanted civilian parachutes with user-operated ripcords, not military-issued ones. And actually, it's been stated that it was more difficult to track these down. They actually had to find a local skydiving place to be able to acquire these for him, which I thought was kind of interesting. Not that I think a lot of plane hijackings happened at that time, but what do I know?
What point do you make the decision that, let it happen? This is just too much work.
Just let it go.
Just like, let's call his bluff.
Yeah. I could have just cut all the strings on the parachute.
No, I mean, I just think he's asking for a lot. And, I don't have time to deal with this shit during the Cold War. Do you know what is happening right now in Cuba? That, bro, you do you, but I don't got time for this BS.
They could have just cut the strings on the parachute, though.
They still would have to find the parachute. That's what I'm saying. They still have to find these things. How are they getting this to him? Are we going to talk about that, JMO? That's my next question. Okay,
yeah.
I'll be quiet until you tell me the rest of the plan.
No, you're fine. You're fine. And one of the things that I had to kind of put in perspective too is $200,000 in 1971 money was like $1.5 million. So it was a fairly sizable amount of money given the time period. But I hear what you're saying, but there's also 36 passengers plus flight attendants and pilots. So there was probably around 40 some people on the plane. So if it was a bomb and he did explode it, 40 people.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what's that, Chris?
I realize I'm a cold-hearted
chance.
bitch, but it's 40 people.
Okay. So 40 people aren't worth $1.5 million.
And 2 fucking parachutes. And I have to find $1.5 million that are differently labeled. Come on, man. You get one or the other or whatever.
But began with the same letter code. Let's not forget that important detail.
Well, no, that's what the FBI gave him.
Oh, okay.
That way they can still track the money.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the guy that got, I'm going to say guy because it was the early 70s. And women couldn't have bank accounts yet. Who got this phone call and was like, I'm sorry, you want me to do what? My name is Harold. I've been on this job for 2 days. I got a guy murdering children down in Atlanta. I got a guy going after collegiates all over the country. I don't have time for this bullshit. What do you want? That's how I imagine the conversation went. This is probably why I am not in the FBI.
You're not a negotiation specialist.
No. Hey, I'm too old for it now, so I feel like I can say whatever the hell I want.
Get off your lawn.
Yeah, get off my lawn. Don't come in this lawn asking me for $1.5 million and different bills and 2, what did he say? Casual people parachutes? The word you use.
Yeah, civilian parachute.
Casual people. What are they going to do? Go to the Army surplus store? And then I'm going to be quiet.
Oh,
please tell me how they get this stuff. Yeah. Tell me how they get this stuff to him.
Sunny surplus RIP. All right. So we're going to get to what happened. So no worries there. Okay. So the ground team later had the cash and the casual people parachutes. So they radioed the pilot, said that they were ready for him to come in. Cooper ordered that they take the plane to a well-lit area after they landed. The pilot had
more demands.
More demands. I mean, he's basically a Karen at this point in your eyes.
He is on my list.
So the plane was taken to a well-lit area after it was landed. He had the cabin lights dimmed, and more demands. Get ready. He ordered that no vehicle should approach the plane. He also ordered that the person who was bringing cash and parachutes come unaccompanied. Once his demands were met, they released 36 passengers. And
wait, hold on. How was the goods of his demands provided unaccompanied? Did they just like roll it on a skateboard? Like someone has to bring it to him. They don't have that technology. Doesn't exist, right?
Yeah, I mean, 1971. It was probably I'm just guessing roughly 2 skateboards for him to
tied together with an ordinary person belt.
Well, they used casual people skateboards, so they probably needed 3 of them.
Yeah. A bike with like an ET basket. Oh no, that's actually this is before ET.
Yeah.
All right. Continue telling me what his demands were.
So he was nice enough, he was kind enough to release the 36 passengers. He kept 1 flight attendant and the men in the cockpit. Let's see. He knew a lot about the type of plane, the Boeing 727. He knew about different altitudes, and he must have been it's hypothesized that he was a experienced skydiver because he understood, winds and different altitudes, and when you'd be able to breathe and things like that. More demands. Cooper told the crew that he wanted to go to Mexico City. They didn't have enough fuel on the plane. With that understanding, they stopped in Reno in order to get the jet refueled. After about 15 minutes of fueling, Cooper told them to go off anyways. Cooper, also more demands, directed the captain to depressurize the cabin once it was in the air. He knew a person can breathe normally at 10,000 feet, and that if the cabin had equalized pressure inside and out, there wouldn't be a violent gust of wind once the stairs had dropped when he was trying to leave. After takeoff, Cooper ordered the flight attendant and the rest of the crew to stay in the cockpit. There was no peephole in the cockpit door. They didn't have cameras at the time, so they had no idea what he was doing outside of a red light that indicated if a door was open or not. The pilot, once he saw the red light, asked if he could help Cooper with anything, and Cooper screamed no. And once the jet landed at its destination, Cooper said, or they went over the intercom and was calling for Cooper, and he didn't answer. Needless to say, nobody ever heard from Cooper again after he jumped out of the plane.
They were so nice to this man. They're like, "Sir, would you like some peanuts?" And he's like, "Leave me alone." And they're like, "Okay, would you like a coffee?" Leave me alone. And they gave him everything. I'm very, very distraught about Cooper. And he probably ended up like living a happy life in Guatemala.
We'll never know. But I must ask you the question: if you were in a situation with somebody with a potential explosive device, would you be nice, polite, and kind, or would you be kind of shitty to them?
Well, as Amanda said earlier, she didn't care about the 36 passengers. So there's that.
But if she was one of the 36 passengers, does that change the equation?
I probably, like, I say this, but, I don't know what I would do. And I know this is terrible, but I have thought, like, okay, if I'm ever in a situation where, like, there's, like, a shooter or a bomb or whatever, like, I definitely know I have the fight response and, like, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. And I think I probably, after, like, hearing his third demand, I'd be like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, and I probably would be very like over his bullshit after a certain part. Now, and especially if I was like the flight attendant or whatever, if I didn't know what was going on, I'd be like, okay, guess we're detouring to Wyoming, like whatever. But if I was like having to listen to his bullshit, I'd probably be like, I can't with you anymore, and I'm officially over this shit. And then I'd beat him up with my broken glass from my drink that I had right in the jugular.
Right. I think I would be nice with the explosive. It's kind of it depends. I mean, it depends on what they have going on. If it's a dead man switch or something like that, I probably would be nice as possible. If it's just like, hey, I got a bomb and it's over there in the briefcase and that's it, yeah, I probably would be shitty. If he had no way to like explode it in a moment's notice, but I guess that's the whole point of it, is to be able to explode it in a moment's notice. Otherwise, it's not a very effective weapon. But if it was,
I also don't know if I trust him. Like, do you trust that he actually had an explosive?
Well, she said she saw wires hanging out and what appeared to be dynamite. So I think he did actually have an explosive.
Oh no, there's an explosive behind here. Like,
oh, look at that wire you have behind you.
Look at my wire. And you don't know what's behind those pillows.
Be careful. Amanda has 36 passengers on her couch right now.
Or something even better, a little dachshund.
Aww.
And some Halloween bats that apparently haven't put up yet. I don't know. I know I sound awful, and I'm sure our listeners are going to be like, well, Amanda, PhD has changed you. What a cold-hearted bitch you are. But I just think that there's a point where I'm like, I don't know if I believe you. Like, I don't know if you are effing with me because you know people are scared. And I'm done with your shit. So blow us up or be quiet. I got to get to Wyoming. I'm going to Disney World and you're messing this up for me.
You got to see Loki in Disney World, man. Come on.
I got shit to do.
All right. So.
Wait, no, what would you do? Like, would you like let him, would you play into his demands and do all the things?
Yeah, I mean.
I was a flight attendant? I don't know.
Man, if it was at the point where it was just you let all the passengers off and it's me and the flight crew, I'd be having a powwow in that cockpit like, all right, what are we doing here? Because, I mean, for all we know, he could set the bomb off with the timer or something and then jump out, right? Like,
yeah.
Maybe you got to take him out.
At least have a plan B.
That's right.
Why do I feel like your all's plan B is like my plan D? Like, I feel like plan A, he wouldn't have been even on the plane because I would have smelled that. You could ask Ange. I would have smelled that he was a creeper. I send Ange pictures all the time of people in the airport, and I'm like, this man, I'm watching him. Or I also said, I'm like, ooh, I am definitely watching this cutie patootie over here. And cutie patootie could be any type of thing. It could be a cute dog, a cute child, cute human. You don't know.
Fair enough.
So that cutie patootie, DB Cooper with all his demands, they never found him. They were using local authorities were using and the government were using fighter jets to try to tail the plane, but because of the low altitude and the speeds, the fighter jets actually didn't do a good job of following the plane. And as well as there was a lot of inclement weather that night. So they couldn't really search for him until the next day. And they searched for several weeks. They've never been able to find any trace of the hijacker or parachute. In 1980, there was an 8-year-old boy who did find bundles of $20 bills with the serial numbers that matched the ones that Cooper had asked for in the Columbia River. This kind of supports that he likely didn't survive. And then as well as there was an eruption in Mount St. Helens in 1980 that probably erased the rest of whatever evidence was left, is the speculation.
Damn, he had that planned out good.
Right?
So I have a good speculation movie that references Cooper.
Please.
And you all should know of it. Without a Paddle.
Oh, yeah.
Where they find his money. Because he parachutes out, right? He parachutes out and he gets stuck in like one of the caverns or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Forgot about that one.
That's a good one.
DB Cooper. What a cutie pie, Karen, with all his demands. All right. So the third con artist I'm going to talk about today is Frank Abagnale Jr., which we were just talking about earlier from Catch Me If You Can.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I'm sure you all have seen the movie, right?
Oh, yes. Classic.
I actually have not.
Oh, my gosh.
Are you serious?
It's so good.
It is very good.
And that's my favorite actor in it. Like, it's so good.
I hope you're talking about DiCaprio and not Tom Hanks.
Oh, no. Well, my favorite movie is Forrest Gump, like a favorite adult movie. But yes, I love Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he should have won an Oscar for What's Eating Gilbert Grape and for Catch Me If You Can and Wolf of Wall Street, Titanic. I mean, the list can go on. But yeah. Obsessed.
Yes. Okay. Fair enough. As long as it wasn't Tom Hanks, I'm on board.
You don't like Tom Hanks?
No.
Ooh, we got some tea here. What's going on, man?
It's all alleged, but apparently he's mixed up in the child trafficking shit that's in Hollywood pretty heavy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. All alleged.
Christopher, I'm going to need you to get off the QAnon forums. We've talked about this. I put you through enough rehab to deal with it. Robin and I have been going to our meetings to support you. I need you to get off it.
I don't buy the QAnon stuff one bit. I think that was all a psyop, 100%. But I definitely, and there's plenty of people coming out in Hollywood saying it's a thing. You haven't heard of the people that are coming out in Hollywood after Mel Gibson's movie that came out that I haven't seen but have heard about?
I need you to do research on that damn movie because the guy who was the lead or the sponsor.
What the fuck was that?
So creepy. I don't know what that was. But that guy was just convicted for sex trafficking of his own.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that movie is bullshit.
Well, I'm just saying, but there's the movie was just to get you on board what I was talking about. But this is the thing too, man, you got to remember. And I don't know anything about that, so I can't speak to that. But playing the mind of a child, money's not an option, child sex trafficking ring in Hollywood, right? In order to discredit somebody that's trying to bring your shit to light, what would be your play? Turn them into the sex trafficker, right?
What?
So playing the mind, you're the bad guy, child sex trafficking ring, kingpin, whatever, extraordinaire. This guy puts out a movie that's shining light on your operation, right? What's your first? What would be your, not your first, but what would be your move to discredit this person, to shut down the whole thing?
I mean, turn the tables on them,
right?
But I appreciate the fact that you think I have that power.
It happens every day.
Well, right, but it happens for power we don't know about. Like, I would not be surprised if you told me it was like a Rockefeller or who are those fuckers in Europe that like.
See, the thing is,
I don't think I don't think the level we're thinking, that just seems so small.
Oh, it does. I agree. And if you know their name, they don't run shit. Let's just put it that way. If you know their name, like Rockefeller and all those people, they're just middlemen. You know what I mean?
There's like a whole other level.
Yes, 100%.
J-Mo is like, what did I get myself into?
I know very little, like enough that it exists about the movie, but I can't even think of the people. But there was people coming out, like big time actors, saying there is like a legit, like sex trafficking ring going on in Hollywood. I can't remember who they are. And shame on
I don't doubt that at all. I mean, like, I don't think it's good. I think
it plays into the Me Too stuff a little bit, you know? I think it plays into that.
Well, they talk about it like for like the Super Bowl and stuff. Like, apparently it's like huge, and they've like taught airline people, what is this called? Not stewardess, airline
attendants.
Thank you. How to like notice that stuff and like signs. So yeah, I don't think that. I just did not know that Tom Hanks was apparently America's sweetheart, was apparently doing that. Now Tom Cruise,
it's all alleged.
Not surprised.
Yeah, it's all alleged. I don't know for sure. I'm not a fan of him. I think I've always heard even before that he was kind of shitty with his fans and stuff like that. So that's kind of what started me on not caring for him. But who isn't shitty with their fans? You got all these people drooling all over you and coming up to you, bothering you all the time. I guess you're bound to be shitty. I would be shitty too. You know? Anyway, back on topic.
So Tom Hanks, Forrest Gump, am I right?
Forrest Gump, am I right?
I love Forrest Gump. Still love Forrest Gump. I have to say that.
So it's my turn to go off on a tangent. Okay. Did you know that they were going to make a sequel to Forrest Gump? Like, they were really pushing hard for it.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, and apparently the author like got so pissed off about it that like he wrote like a messed up sequel to Forrest Gump. Have you guys heard this?
No, I haven't. Man,
I wish that.
It's one of her favorite movies.
Forrest Gump is like one of my favorite movies. I've read the book, which is just an interesting piece of literature. It's not the movies. They definitely went off a little bit, but
did you read the sequel?
No, because the first one was just a lot, and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm good." But like, I like Forrest Gump because it's quotable, right? Like, who doesn't ever go, Lieutenant Dan, ice cream?
I do all the time.
Ice cream, Lieutenant Dan.
I love the idea that they put every bit of important thing that he was pretty much a part of it during that time. I love that. That's like my favorite part of it.
Yeah, the book's really cool because he does even more, like, he does other stuff. That's really, I can't remember exactly, but yeah. He like does other really cool stuff in the book. And like, I just really like, what did he say to Jenny? You got a bite. You're a mama. My name's Forrest. He's got a daddy named Forrest. Sorry, I ruined your Black Panther party. Boom.
Yeah.
Mama sweeps coons off with a broom. Come on. He's so simple.
Coconut, shrimp scampi.
if he had a bomb on a plane and demanded all those things from me, done. What else do you want for us?
Anyway, let Jamer go off on his tangent.
Sorry.
I need $200,000 and 2 parachutes.
Forrest, you only want 2? You want 3? I'll get you another one, Forrest.
I gotta pay. So
I believe he said he had to pay.
So apparently the author was going to write I think he did write the book, but like he got upset because people were pressuring him into writing the book. And so whatever the premise is, it's supposed to be like ridiculous, and not ridiculous in the fun way, like the movie in the first book. It's like ridiculous.
Well, see, what they could have done to do it right, I guess, is have his son kind of do the next generations be there for it, you know?
Have his son sitting on the bench?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'm not write movies.
Yeah, but his son wasn't so special.
Well, they could have had him like have a tragic accident and
Well, presumably Jenny had AIDS, I think. So it's possible that he could have been an AIDS kid, right?
Yeah.
No, actually. So yes and no. So I have a friend who has HIV. She's an older friend, and neither of her kids have it.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
So it just depends on like how far along it was, and like, yeah. So and like how if she knew she had it or whatever. So,
huh.
Yeah. Fun fact about AIDS.
Yeah.
All right. So the movie, Catch Me If You Can. Since our friend Angela has not seen it before, Amanda, would you do us a favor of giving us a synopsis of the film?
Ooh, yeah, of course. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So Frank he comes from like a lower class, and he decides to make himself better. But he doesn't do it your typical way of like getting a job, whatever. He figures out that he can forge. He's like really good at forging checks and stuff. But wait, does he start doing that first, or does he do the plane first? He's like really smart. So he learns how to like fly a plane. He learns how to be a doctor. He learns how to forge checks. I think he even like convinces people he like works for the CIA. And then Tom Hanks' character like kind of catches up with him. And is he for the CIA or is he the FBI?
FBI.
Yeah. And then he tries to catch him. And yeah, that's sort of how he makes his money. What the fuck is my mother talking about? She's like naming food that she wants that's not in our house. She's like texting me, I want Frito chips. Margaret, we don't have Frito chips. We're cooking them. Sorry, you can cut that out, Christopher.
Nope, staying in.
I mean, now I want some Fritos, honestly. That was a very good synopsis. And, some other things in the film where he forges checks. He, excuse me, he forges checks. He pretends to be an airline pilot for Pan Am. He pretends to be a doctor, as well as he pretends to be a lawyer at one point. So he's really good at not only forging credentials and checks, but also as kind of playing the part. Because this is such a well-known film, for this one, looking at more of what was different in real life versus what actually happened, and a little bit more details that I found. Did some research. The description of Frank Abagnale Jr. or the film was a true story about Frank Abagnale Jr., who before his 19th birthday successfully conned millions of dollars worth of checks, was a Pan Am pilot, a doctor, and a legal prosecutor. An FBI agent, Tom Hanks, makes his mission to put him behind bars. But Frank not only eludes capture, but he revels in the pursuit. One of my favorite parts of the film before we get started is Chris's favorite actor, Tom Hanks, has a scene where he is in the car with a couple other FBI agents, and they're telling a joke, and Tom Hanks plays a real big stiff in the film, and he doesn't think the joke that the other FBI agents are telling are funny, and he realizes that they don't have the same credentials that he has and things like that. So he's kind of looking lower on them. And the other guys are giving him a hard time. They're like, but you don't think our jokes are funny? And Tom Hanks is like, I'm funny. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll tell a joke. And he's like, would you like me to tell a joke? Would you like to hear me tell a joke? And he says, knock, knock. They're like, who's there? He says, go fuck yourselves. I love that scene. I love that scene so much. But so Catch Me If You Can is a Spielberg film. It's actually based on the book that Frank Abagnale Jr. wrote, which I didn't know. I need to go read now. But there's a interesting quote that I found from his book that I've seen a lot of places. It says, I stole every nickel and blew it on fine threads, luxurious lodgings, fantastic foxes, and other sensual goodies. I partied in every capital in Europe and bashed on all of the world's most famous beaches. So again, I'm going to look at some data. Some of the things are going to be what's different than the movie and what actually happened in real life. So starting from his background, he did come from a family that was divorced. The film shows him as being a only child, but he actually had a sister, I believe. One of the things that happened was he did spend most of his time with his father. And at the age of 15, he apparently, looked and acted very much like an adult. He got arrested for lots of minor charges when he was a teenager. But because he was a minor, he would get out of trouble in most cases. Within 6 months of hanging out and going to bars and places with his father, he deemed himself street smart at that point. So he dropped out of high school when he was 16. And what differs from the film is that he never spoke to his parents again after he ran away. He moved to New York City. He forged his driver's license at the age of 16, saying he was 26. He worked as a postal worker, for the postal service. And during that time is when he figured out how to forge checks. And what the film doesn't show is he actually did a little bit more than what the things I was calling out before. From the age of 16 to 21, he was an airline. He pretended to be an airline pilot, a sociology professor, a doctor, and a lawyer, all by faking credentials and being able to, kind of play the part. In that time frame, and from 16 to 21, he forged $2.5 million in every U.S. state in 26 different countries total. And so now somebody needs to do the math on what 1960 $2.5 million what is worth now, because now I'm interested. At the age of 16, so one thing that the film did get right is he did pretend to be a head of a student newspaper, and he interviewed Pan Am to learn all about their airlines and learn more about the company, so he could kind of better play the part.
Hold on. So I got your conversion. So $1 million from 1960 is now worth almost 11 million. Hold on. Is that right? 1, 2. Yeah. So double that. So we're at 22 and then half of that.
Yeah. That's a lot of cash.
The shitload. So
lots of spoilers in here, Angela. I apologize. Since you've been living under a rock this whole time.
I don't know. It's on my list to watch. I just haven't yet.
It's a good one.
Your docket?
It's on my docket.
It's on the docket. So another thing that the film gets right is he figured out that he could take the logos off of toy Pan Am planes in order to use them on checks to make it look more official. When he was pretending to be a pilot, he actually got detained or arrested in Miami one time. And he was so good at playing the part that he used friends within the airline that he had met along the way to validate that he was actually a Pan Am employee, which is pretty fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
Let's see. So his next career move after that, potential run-in with the law, is he made friends with a doctor, and while he was making friends with him, one of the big topics was their sexual conquests, and he earned such a rapport with this guy that he was able to convince him that he was a pediatrician, and that's where in the film or in actuality is when he became a doctor and started working at a practice. Isn't that insane?
That's great. I mean, but I'm wondering if that would work nowadays. You know what I mean? With technology and everything, I feel like you couldn't do it.
There is a story about a woman. It's called The Savior Complex. Something that's on HBO. And it's this woman who went to Africa and convinced people that she was a doctor and was like treating children in Africa for like things and like killing babies and stuff because she didn't know what she was doing.
I see that only because it's not as on the grid country as say Europe or United States or but even still I feel like it'd be hard pressed, but definitely possible, I guess, depending on location.
It makes you wonder, like, you go apply for a job somewhere and you say, like, I graduated from this college. Like, how many of those places actually check if you went to that?
Yeah, that's true. It's true. It's a lot of time and effort. And half the time you got to wait for somebody to call you back. And it's just like, is it worth it?
Yeah.
We have a company that does it at work.
Oh,
really?
Yeah. Yeah, they check. But in like 1960 something, it probably didn't exist.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You didn't have a bunch of people running around lying about their background either, I'm sure.
Well, and I was like telling someone the other day that like if we had to check, like I don't have my high school diploma. I don't know where the hell. I'm sure my mother has it, but I don't know where it's at. Do y'all know where your high school diplomas are?
I sure do.
No. Well, Christopher's is framed above his bathroom toilet.
I know where my college degrees are, but high school diploma might be in a box somewhere in my basement.
Right? That's where I think my college degrees are in a box in the basement.
To get my job, I had to give all that shit.
Well, right. I had to say that stuff too, but I only had to give my my college degree. But I was talking to my coworker. I was like, if they asked me for my high school one, I wouldn't know where it is. And they can't call my high school because it doesn't exist anymore.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
So I was like, do they call the archdiocesan? Like, Angela, have you thought about this? And like, what do they do, right? Like, is it recorded with the Baltimore Archdiocesan or what?
It probably is somewhere, I would imagine. I mean, there's got to be some sort of master file.
I'm just going to have him call Dr. Turner.
Yep. That's a good one. Yep.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was like, Christ, I don't know where it is. I do know that my college degrees are accepted and therefore signed by the Secretary of State, who at the time was Hillary Clinton.
Interesting.
Yeah.
No comment. Moving on.
No, I just think it's kind of cool, right? Like,
no, it is cool. I'm just giving you time about Hillary
Clinton.
One
is Hillary Clinton and one is John Kerry because they got kind of different things. But I had to have that to work abroad. So.
Gotcha.
All right. Let's see. So through his discussing his sexual conquest with this doctor, he became a doctor and started working at a practice. The film actually captures a scene where he sees a child with a broken leg, and something similar actually happened to him in real life. And that was the point he determined, like, yeah, even though, he was forging his way or pretending to be a doctor, he realized like he could actually hurt somebody by doing this. So that created his next career move. Let's see. Frank, in kind of conjunction with his next career move, Amy Adams' character within the movie is actually based off a couple different, women interests that he had in the past. In the movie, she plays. I don't think she was a nurse, but she was somebody that worked, in some administrative position within the hospital. And she was from Louisiana, but this particular person in real life was actually a flight attendant who was from Louisiana. So he wound up moving there. And when he moved there, she introduced him to a lawyer. So he said that he had taken, classes at whatever school and faked his credentials. But this is actually something that when I was doing my research, there's a lot of debate about, is that he says he actually passed the bar. But there's a lot of people that say that he didn't necessarily. He might have actually, forged the credentials somehow, given his history, right? People aren't going to trust him. But he swears up and down he actually passed it. And within the movie, they actually, joke about that, how did you pass the bar, Frank? So I thought that was really interesting that the movie actually plays on reality, that people don't necessarily believe he actually passed it or he cheated. Let's see. So he passed the bar and he got a job at the DA. And similarly to the film, where his father-in-law gives him a hard time asking questions about his background, there was actually somebody that he worked within the law office that would challenge him all the time. So that caused him to do another career hop. He went to Utah on a trip and decided he wanted to be a sociology professor on his next move.
What the
hell? And
that's
so
a downgrade. The candidate could not have given any kind of money, but okay.
Yep. So the movie doesn't reference this career move, but they do a nod to it.
Because it wasn't a sexy career.
Yeah, I mean, sociology professor, right? You could be like, have the jacket with the patches on your elbows.
Wait, isn't Indiana Jones a sociology professor?
think he's a history
not.
professor.
History. Same.
Or archaeology, maybe. I can't remember.
I would agree.
But,
Sociology.
I was
I
going
feel
to say
like
it
I
might
can
have
say
been
that.
archaeology. It definitely wasn't what Amanda just said.
No. Amanda trying to make herself feel like Indiana Jones. Like
No, Amanda just really, really enjoyed having a good time in college, and sociology worked well for her. I don't know. Trying to finish a PhD.
Godspeed. So the movie gives us a little nod to this, which I thought was interesting because I didn't put it together until I was reading all this stuff. But there is a scene when he's in high school before he moves away where he pretends to be a French teacher. And when the substitute teacher never showed up or showed up late. So I thought that was kind of funny that they at least touched on it a little bit. So between all his career hopping and forgery, he actually at this time was starting to get a lot of heat from law enforcement. So he went back to what he knew best as a airline pilot. And the movie plays on this too, is he went to schools and recruited 8 Pan Am flight attendant interns. And this guy was so ballsy that he took them all over Europe and, on Pan Am's dime. So flew them all over the place, wined and dined these, 8 college interns or whatever. And it was all paid for by his Pan Am forgery and connections that he had made, along the way, which is just unbelievable to me.
It is. It's crazy.
So keep in mind, this time frame that I've talked about so far has been 16 and to now he's 20 years old. So 4 years he's been a pilot, a doctor, a sociology professor, and a lawyer. So he decided the old age of 20 years old, he wanted to retire. He wanted to retire in France, near where his mom was born, which is an ongoing theme in the movie. His mom was from France. He was wanted in 4 different countries or 4 different continents at the time. Continents. So Tom Hanks, the character Hanratty in the movie, he's actually, like Amy Adams' character, is built up of a bunch of different characters. And his last name was Shea. And the movie is right in the way that Abagnale and Shea actually had some rapport over the years because Shea had been chasing him for so long. At the age of 21, he was caught in France when he was, enjoying his retirement by the FBI and French authorities. When he was taken to go back to the United States, the film has a scene where he escapes through the toilet on the plane. He actually did escape from the plane, but it wasn't the toilet. There was some way he got out in the kitchen galley, which I'm not sure how he was able to wander around the plane by himself. It's a whole different.
He had a bomb and he gave it to the airline stewardess.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
asked, sorry.
He had a whole bunch of demands too.
Wouldn't make it in my world. Unless he looks like Leonardo DiCaprio, and then I've been like, whatever you want, baby.
Mm-hmm.
As long as there's no funny business.
That's right. No funny business. So when he escaped the plane, he evaded being identified or captured for several weeks until he was caught in the Montreal airport. He went to prison, and he was able to convince the guards in the jail that he was a prison inspector based on all the special special treatment he was receiving during his stay. And he had a girlfriend in Atlanta that he met along the way, and he started contacting her. And when they had their time together before, he had her save a bunch of different business cards and things he had kind of collected on the way. Like how he knew he was going to need this in the future is just amazing to me. But he had some FBI agents' business cards. And so he got some special replicas made, and he had his girlfriend visit him in the prison, brought him those credentials, and he was able to convince guards that he was actually an FBI agent and needed to call the FBI. He called the quote unquote FBI, but it was actually his girlfriend. And she pretended to be somebody that worked at the FBI that verified that he worked at the FBI. So then they let him go.
Holy cow.
Right?
This man has so much ambition that like he could have done anything. And I am very shocked he did not end up being president.
Huge balls.
Yes.
So much.
Balls.
So what's ironic is how he wound up getting caught is it's so not romantic or anything. So he escaped that last prison for about a month, and I believe it was New York City. I need to verify that, but there was two detectives eating some hot dogs on the street, and one of them recognized him, and all they said was, "Hey, Frank." And he perks up, looks around, and then they figured out it was him. They tracked him down. They were able to arrest him. So he was charged, and I found this was kind of low given all the circumstances. He was only charged for 12 years in 1971, which I feel is like, I don't know, maybe I don't know enough about the crimes, but that seems like really low to me.
Yeah.
So he was charged for 12 years. What's that?
Yeah, it is really low for all the stuff he did. They must not have had him on much or something. That's just 12 years.
Yeah, considering one of the last ones, he impersonated an FBI agent.
Right. I feel like that would get you 12 on its own.
Yeah.
For 70s, different time, Vietnam, acid.
Yeah.
Mm.
So he was charged for 12 years. After 5 years, and remember, he's only 26 at this point. He's been in jail for 5 years. At the age of 26, he was released under the condition that he would be working for the FBI and showing him, things he learned along the way, and you kind of figuring out, giving them tips and tricks on how to catch other people. So all of these things that I just listed happened in less than a decade, which is just incredible to me. So Shay, the FBI agent, just like the film, he recommended his release under the conditions that he helped work with the FBI. And Shay and Abagnale actually wound up becoming friends after everything. So it's all such a happy story.
Doesn't he end up working for them?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't. A cush job. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Let me look it up. All right. I don't have it handy, but I'm searching.
He's like the pure definition of fake it till you make it.
Yes. Epitome of it.
Says he's from Abagnale.com.
Sounds
says
good.
For over 47 years, he has worked with, advised, and consulted with hundreds of financial institutions, corporations, and government agencies around the world. He's worked with the FBI for over 4 decades. So,
Wow.
I don't know if that means working with them or directly for them. I don't have that data. But yeah.
Cool beans.
Sociology professor. That was a curveball for me. I'm not sure that's not as romantic as some of the other things he's done.
Yeah, not at all.
Well, like Amanda said, it was kind of like a downgrade. He did so much before that. And I was like, oh, I'm going to do this mediocre position.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are
any of our sociology professor listeners. I learned a lot from my sociology professors. It's a lot of hard work. It just doesn't seem as sexy as a pilot.
Fair enough. So what we learned today, Amanda supports sociology professors, does not support needy terrorists.
No, I do not negotiate with terrorists. I am a
And Chris
millennial.
does not like Tom Hanks.
And Chris does not like Tom Hanks, and we all concur that clowns are creepy.
And Forrest Gump is a great movie.
But
3 out of 4 of us concur about clowns.
Therefore, it's majority rule democracy. Jamie, I thought you were going to say that I support socialism, and I was like, well, another conversation, but now I got wrong. But I thought you were going to.
I was trying to avoid politics, but we've already touched on Hillary Clinton and a few other things.
Just signed my degree, that's all. And maybe my tits, but that's a different story.
Oh, man.
I wish. There are so many people we're going to get sued by in this episode. Chris, maybe you should give them our email address.
Oh, sure. It's the waters run deep at gmail.com. Look us up. Send us an email.
You can also sue the family here by following them on Instagram and Spotify,
and soon hopefully have a Patreon, so you can sue us on that if you want.
Just remember, all you're getting is my mom's creepy heads from Europe.
Yeah, and that's about it.
That's all we own. David, you don't know about the creepy heads, and I'm too comfortable to go up and show you, but I'll send you a picture.
I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
Actually, Chris is like, oh, I have one right here. Let me show you.
Oh, no.
I'll post a picture on Instagram.
There's a lot more, though.
Speaking of nightmare fuel.
This is just one of the group of fellows.
What is that even?
He's Scottish.
Is it like a piggy bank, or like what is that thing?
It
no, you like put it on the wall.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's got writing on the bottom. Jock by Legend Products, made in England, 1986.
Oh, his name is Jock.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Jock.
Jock.
I looked at my nipple. Oh,
Jock or Jock?
Jock. Oh, you got it.
Jock.
Jock.
Oh.
All right. So Angela and I had a debate recently to take us completely off topic. What were the names of the 3 trick-or-treaters in Nightmare Before Christmas?
Oh, I was just thinking about this the other day.
Oh, I have no idea.
Wasn't it like humor? It was like not sins, but like I'm right? Like it was like greed.
Yes.
Greed, lust, no.
No, it's not. It's reference a Guy Ritchie movie.
Madonna?
No, 3 things.
Yeah, the Boogie's Boys.
Oh.
Lock.
Need the Jeopardy music playing.
I can see them, but I can't think of the other one.
J-Mo just said one.
No, I heard Luck. Yeah, but I can't see the last one.
Lust.
What is it? I don't know.
Lock Lock is L-O-C-K. Lock is the first one. Barrel is the last one. What's the one in the middle?
Stock.
Done.
That's what I said too, but we're both wrong.
It's shock.
Oh, right.
S-H-O-C-K.
Fair enough. I can get
What
that.
a cute movie. Now, do you all feel that is a Halloween movie or a Christmas movie or both?
Both.
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 Yeah, I agree, both. I watch it both times. This is Halloween.
Oh, we're gonna get sued. We're gonna get sued.
That's not the real version. I don't think I did it right. I didn't like.
Are you
I
doing the
thought
Marilyn Manson version.
that's literally all I know. I don't know the rest of it. Oh no, my favorite is when someone's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "What's this?" It's magic everywhere. That's all I did. But I sing it all the time. People think I'm crazy. I am. Do you know that movie came out in like 1993?
Yeah, I think it just turned 30 years old, or it's going to in like the next 2 days or something.
I'm like,
they're
Halloween,
re-releasing
right?
it in theaters.
It's just crazy to think that movie has been a part of our lives, like since I can remember. You know? And do you pass it down to your children, JMO and Chris?
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a staple.
I agree. JMO, I have to ask you a question because my mom and I realized, so my mom recently stayed with Chris for like 2 weeks or something, and she introduced the Wizard of Oz to Chris's kiddo. Does your child know the Wizard of Oz?
Yes, she has seen the original film, and she's obsessed with Wicked the musical.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the little munchkins that live in my neighborhood had never heard of it. And my mom was like, what is with this generation? And I was like, I don't know. I love the Wizard of Oz.
It's actually a really kind of creepy film.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
Actually, it would be a cool topic. Write that down, Angela. Maybe it's my birthday topic. There's some like really crazy shit that happened.
You know what I was a huge fan of growing up was Return to Oz, that movie. I loved that movie when I was a little kid.
With like the guy on skate.
The Wheelers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there was the robot guy.
That's like, oh my God.
What about the Wiz?
I do like the Wiz.
The Wiz is good.
He's on down the road.
We're all dancing.
Well, I'm happy to know that your child is cultured.
That she is.
Absolutely.
What are we all being for Halloween before we say goodbye? Angela, what are you being for Halloween?
I don't know.
Fail. JMO, what are you being for Halloween?
I might get an updated onesie. I have a shark onesie that I've been in the past, but it might be time. I've had it for probably 6 years or so it might be time for a new one.
You should get like a little like wind thing, like they have this portable like fan, and put it underneath your shark costume and be shark.
I just got one of those things. They're rad.
Okay, great. They're great.
And it's got a USB-C plug on it, so it's rechargeable. Yes.
That's how mine is. I used it when I was playing golf, and I was like, "This is classic." Christopher, what are you being for Halloween?
Supposed to be King Triton, but I'm fighting that.
He's going to be a grumpy old man.
Get off
my lawn.
I love it.
What are you going to be, Amanda?
Thank you for asking. I am going to be one of the Britney Spears icons I haven't decided which Britney Spears, but my office is all dressing up like Britney Spears. So I was thinking maybe like the schoolgirl one because I could wear my old high school uniform.
You still have that?
My mother keeps everything. Robin, I have to find the picture. Can Robin hear me, Chris? No, I'll text her back. Yeah, that's my plan. I'm excited. Although we might, because we're HR, work in HR. So we're going to decorate our cubicle area as toxic. because, HR promotes toxic work culture, the joke.
I like it.
And then we're all going to like be Britney Spears from the taxi video. But then I suggested we should just not decorate, but get like little portable Bluetooth and put them around the office and play earworm commercials, like Cars for Kids or the Beat Burger King commercial.
Or the Gigi Wentworth.
Yeah.
My money and I need it now.
I can't tell the kids for
Gotta
cars
call
yesterday.
Gabco.
All right,
All right, friends.
Thanks, Shamo, for
Yes, thank you. It was fantastic. I'd like definitely have you back and love your input and love the topic. It was good stuff. I want to thank everyone for joining us on this episode of the Waters Run Deep podcast. Please, as always, please, can't beg, can't get on my knees. I'm on my knees, but you can't see me. Please rate and review on your platform of choice and tell your friends, your neighbors, your hairstylist, your postmaster man, anybody that'll let you talk to them to listen to the podcast if they show any interest in the topics. And if you have any suggestions on topics, reach out to us. Or if you just want to talk to us, reach out to us, TWRD_podcast. Or you can email us at thewatersrundeeppodcast@gmail.com. This offer still stands. If you leave us a 5-star review, we'll send you out some stickers. Just let us know and we'll make it happen. I want to thank everybody again, and we'll see you next time.
ciao.
Bye.